All right, homies, welcome to a Monday night video, which is going to be tackling what could happen tomorrow and giving you the bullish and bearish cases for the SPY, the Qs, Tesla, Apple, and then we'll go into some yields and finish with the VIX because I think it's kind of important. On the SPY, the main thing we want to pay attention to today is we did get some buying, but we do have a wick downward and we do have a cross now on the MACD, which is telling us that on the daily time frame, momentum is now shifting to the downside. And if you're a bull, you're going to want this to start to reverse pretty dang quickly and maybe come fill this gap up here. If you're a bear, you're going to want this continuation triangle here to break to the downside, whether it's now or even if it is when we fill that gap. But it still stands. We can still come and fill this gap right now. And we said before that when we leave a gap behind, we do have 80% of the time that gap is filled within 5 trading sessions. And so what that's telling me is we've had 2 trading days so far. We have 3 days left to have that statistic prove itself to us. Okay, we have 3 days left in the bullish case for this to prove itself, whether it is come down into the bottom of this channel and then go fill itself in a couple of days. Or maybe we just possibly, because Apple had some strength behind it, maybe we just go and fill that right now. Bullish case, if that fill does happen, you are looking for some kind of consolidation and then a break to the upside, and hopefully you get some good news with Jerome Powell. But I want you to be careful because a lot of the time when Jerome Powell talks or they give some kind of data release, we see a reaction one way and then quickly 1 or 2 days later, we just see it reverse the other way. So just be looking out for that kind of on both sides, bearish or bullish. The bearish case for the SPY, it's going to be similar to the Qs. Your bullish case is pretty similar as well. This actually held up a little bit nicer on its bottom of its triangle here. So if you didn't know, the Qs does have that triangle as well. It's just a little bit closer and we are seeing some support off that. So we used it as support early on in the morning to pop us higher, and now we're coming down for that possible double dip into the 200-day moving average plus our bottom of our triangle, and maybe we can use that in the bull case to come and fill this gap, maybe see some resistance and then pop a little higher. It could work out in multiple ways though. I mean, this could elongate for a long time. We could see this, we could come back down, we could get real tight and then see a move one way or the other. The bear case is pretty simple. You want this to break. You want the bottom of the triangle to break, and you want that daily crossing on the MACD to start to really put some momentum to the downside. And as you can see, if you are a bear, you are seeing that pop up again here on the Qs on the daily MACD. Now, if you're subscribed today, you get to give yourself a nice little thumbs up because yesterday we told you that this move could be happening right now. And if we just want to go back in time with our videos, we saw this happen. We asked and we said, this probably should come down for a double dip into its resistance zone. We tried to break out of it and then we dipped a little bit lower. And around here is when I told bears that you wanted this to cross on the MACD to unconfirm this divergence right here and cut to a lower level. That did not happen. And instead in my video that next day, we saw it actually reject. And that just means it came down and then came back up. It actually rejected the crossing on the MACD. And I told you guys on Friday and Sunday that that was a very bullish short-term sign that we could see a breakout of this little support zone that we have down here. All right, I erased my thumbs up so we can see a little better, but thank you so much for subscribing. If you were subscribing, you got that info. So we did see that monster breakout, that bullishness that we were talking about. And what we told the bears around here was you would want this to start to fade. And that's actually what happened. But as bulls, we can see way back, I was telling it how we like to react off of this zone, and we like to go for a little dink on the top, and that's exactly what happened. We came down and we got this little dink on the top, and then we used that to rocket to higher levels. And then at the end of the day here, we get this weird curvy sell-off. This could be people taking profit in this prior support area. So I think as a bull, the overall bull case is you're hoping to get some kind of stand in this area, maybe with a little pop and drop, and then we launch to higher levels. Overall, I want you to think about seeing A, B, C play to the upside, and then we can come and fill that gap right around 182.92. For the bear case, I think that you really want this gap to be filled and then get a little bounce and see some resistance again, and then you see a tear down to lower levels. But in order for us to fully, in the bear case, get to this 165, we have to break out of this purple zone. So what I'm kind of looking for in the maybe medium term is some kind of downward move in the bearish case with a bounce off of our resistance, and then we see an ABC pattern down to 165.79, which lines up with our daily 200. So maybe you guys can put in the comments, do you think Apple can carry this market to higher levels, or do you think Apple's just faking us out for a day and we're going to see it head lower? Let me know what you think. Something that did not help out the market was Tesla, and Tesla really struggled on the day. It actually gapped down and struggled to come back up to its gap fill. So we are seeing that fall off, and we were telling you that bulls, you don't have to be 100% scared here because it pulled you out of those overbought conditions, and now you can launch higher. Overall, the bulls, you're still not in a terrible case until this trend line here breaks. This is a pretty good channel that we got going back, and as you can see, our last downward move gave us right into this channel. So once this channel breaks, on the bearish case, if we do want to just get this in a feeble bounce and then we break it, that's when I think that we are going to start to see Tesla crash. But in the bullish case, sorry, you'll want possibly this to just start right now and start moving upward and come and fill that gap, cut above this high up here and see some higher levels. And then with the bull case as well, you shouldn't be too scared as long as this bottom of our channel holds, and then we can maybe use that to spring higher, possibly giving us a triple top across there. On Sunday's video, we mentioned yields, and we said there's a tiny green bar here on the histogram telling us that this has crossed and we could see momentum to the upside. And it's cool that we said that because that you can see that momentum just really play out, maybe with the TLT traders doing some stuff, but you see it come out. The problem here is we aren't getting a closing bar in this area, okay? You need a closing bar in this area to really scare people out of the market. When they see it come off, they can see it as not the scariest type of thing. I don't really want to speculate on yields too much because we do have that Fed decision coming out Wednesday, and that literally could make it go up or down. It doesn't even depend how the charts really look. So we want to look at TLT, see if those traders are giving us some hints. And I've marked these two lows here, but first I want to talk about this right here, the MACD. We said for the, if you're a bear for TLT, you wanted this to cross to the downside, and it really looked like it was going to. So the fact that we are now seeing a rejection of that MACD, we're swinging back up, could tell us that we need to be bullish in the very short term. Maybe that means we just come up into the top of this wedge that is possibly forming, and then we see a drop. But overall, if we just pull into, I think it's a 2 hour, we can see how this low and this lower low match up with our MACD here. And you can see that if we do, well, actually we did cross. So we actually have that confirmed. We could see some upside in TLT, some downside in those yields tomorrow. You see the divergence here. You see the low, lower low, low, higher low. So we have that divergence, and that could play us out to the upside. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the VIX. And yesterday's video, we actually were just talking about how it likes to react around this trend line. You see a big downturn way over here. You see a big downturn over here. So I was kind of expecting some kind of at least downturn into a 50 or a big downturn for today. We actually didn't see that. We popped higher. And then we started to fall off. And now we have to see, is this just a retest, or are we going to see some sort of ABC and start to turn over like a 2 hour or something like that? I still could see that gap being filled. So I think that VIX will head to lower levels, but I would like to see this 2 hour make some kind of divergence here to get a solid trade going, a little divergence here, and then we see volatility rip back into this market. Now, it doesn't have to play out that way. We could easily see this do something different, like maybe pop up into here, and then the news is seen as good, and we start to see that fall back down. But we kind of just have to see what really is going to happen with Wednesday. But in the near term, we could see that nearest gap being filled. The main takeaway from this video is on the larger time frames. That means the daily, we are seeing that cross on the MACD, which means that momentum on the daily chart has moved to the downside. But it doesn't mean that we can't go fill a gap ahead of us first or get some kind of fake out to the downside and move up. We just want to be paying attention to what actually happens with price. If we start to see things shape up differently, I will be updating you every single night, but I think we want to pay attention to what the Fed rate decision is and how the market reacts after that, and even 2 days after that, because sometimes we do get a little bit of a fake out. I hope you guys have a great night and a great day tomorrow trading. All right, peace.